All right. So what did that mean that you gave God glory at midfield? Take us into kind of what you were doing and at that time, because you did this for how many years with people not necessarily making a big deal about what you were doing.
Yeah, we were in our 8th season. So this has been going on for a long, long time. And when it first started, it was just myself out there praying because that was my covenant with God that I would give him the glory. Some of the kids said, Coach, what are you doing out there after the game? And I said, I'm just thanking God for what you guys did. And they said, well, we're Christians. Can we join? And I was like, come on, man. This is a free country. You can do whatever you want to do. So they started coming out, and it kind of grew every year. And it's a small community. And they'd say, Coach, can we invite the other team? Because these kids play peewees together. They live across the street and they go to different high schools. So I was like, man, this is your team. You can do whatever you guys want to do. And then in the last season, in our 8th year, we had every single team in our league out on the 50-yard line giving thanks after a football game. That was cool. That is just an awesome experience.
Oh, it's incredible. And so, players had their choice to do this. And so they joined you and other teams. And so at what point then did all of a sudden this become viewed as a bad thing?
Yeah, at the beginning, it was actually viewed as a good thing. One of the, what was he, administrator or something from another school district saw what we were doing out there after the game. And he thought, man, that is so cool. So he called our principal and said, hey, I got to tell you what your football program is doing is awesome, which raised some eyebrows. And, well, what's so awesome? So they started an investigation. The school district has one policy throughout the state. You cannot encourage nor discourage kids in prayer. And I was like, well, that's good because I don't care either way if they come out. And so they said, well, people are starting to talk now once it became light, gotten the news and everything. And they were like, well, just stop praying with the kids and everything should be fine. And I was like, well, that's unfortunate. That's what was making this thing so awesome. But, hey, it's your school, your rules. I don't want to buck the system. These guys are my friends. I don't want to fight with them. I just want to coach football. And so after I stopped praying with the team, they said, well, people can still see you out there praying by yourself. So they said they wanted to give me a place that I could go to where nobody could see me. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? In America, you have to hide your faith? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And so I just said, yeah, well, that's not going to happen. And they said, well, you're going to have to. So they gave me a letter of direction, said I needed to choose between my faith and my job. And if I did continue to pray, I'd be put on leave, administrative leave, until I complied with the school district's policies. And I'm like, well, that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. And I went out and prayed, and boom, they put me on suspension for the rest of the year. And then at the end of the year, great big boom, do not rehire. And my career in coaching was over.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's the craziest thing. And it just doesn't make any sense. So what was the initial then reaction? Like at what point did it become national news? Like take me into the initial reaction, and I'm sure friends and family are like, hey, what's going on? What in the world? And then how did it sort of take off?
Yeah, that just shows the power of social media today. And I never understood when they say viral, man, no joke as things go viral. So I was warned not to pray, and the head coach or the athletic director he said, you can't pray after the game. The head coach said, you can't pray. And I'm like, what are they going to do? And they were like, well, they could fire you. So this was pre everything. And we just had a great game. It was double overtime. And we ended up losing just by, oh man, it was such a good game, but we just lost by a field goal. And after the game, it was a double header. So we had the other guys waiting to come onto the field. Double overtime takes a lot of time. So they're wanting to get on the field, start their practice. The stadium's filled with two different groups of fans. And I was like, well, that's cool. We're not even going to have a chance to pray. So you shake hands with the other team. I was talking to the coach about our next game on Monday, and one of their players came up and gave me his helmet and said, "Coach, would you do the prayer with my helmet?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, absolutely." So all the teams came running up, both teams, and I held up, and man, I was like, "God, you're awesome. Thanks for this fight. You guys are blah 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 blah." Boom, let's get the heck off the field because there are balls flying all over the place. People are, and so I look over, and the head coach looks at me and he goes, "They're going to fire you." And I was just, dude, you know that sickening feeling in your stomach.
Mm.
I felt that, and so on the bus ride home, I was sitting there and I just did one post. I think I just got fired for praying. Hit post, boom. Next day, it's on ESPN and Fox News and everything. So viral overnight, and then it got out of control really quick.